Okay, I expect that the PPT is visible to all of you. Uh, so yes, so we are continuing optimization problems using single variable, and we have covered in the last lecture we covered region elimination method. Okay, so we will continue this region elimination method. Uh, okay. So in this, there are two phases. First one is bounding phase. So in bounding phase, we are trying to identify. We are searching the uh, intervals in which your optimum value will lie. Okay. So in technical term, it is said that we are bounding our solution, or we are bracketing our optimum solution between two limits. Okay. And after that, after this bounding phase is completed, we go to the next step, that is internal refinement phase. Okay. So in internal refinement phase, what we are doing as compared to bounding phase, in bounding phase the step size is large. We are since we have a long interval in which we have to identify, or we have to bracket a optimum region. So in bounding phase we have large step size, but in the case of internal refinement phase, what we are doing, we are refining our bounding phase by the finite sequence of intervals. Okay, so here the refinement is reduced to your step size is very low. Okay, so this internal refinement size depend upon the accuracy which you desire from your solution. Okay, so we will continue our discussion. We have discussed bounding phase, in which we used Swan method, and we were calculating the value of that is the value of x, or the next step xk1 is equal to xk plus 2 raised to the power k into delta. Okay, so this I hope this complete discussion, I hope all of you remember. And we took one example, fx equal to 100 minus x square minus x whole square. So we bounded this region, or we bracketed this function, that the optimum value will lie between 65 to 185. Okay, so once we have identified this bounding phase, or we have found the intervals in which the optimum value of x will lie, we can go to the next stage, which is called as internal refinement phase. Okay, so there are several methods, but the commonly I will be discussing only the commonly used method, that is called internal halving method. Okay, so in internal halving, what we are doing, uh, we are dividing. We are doing half of your each stage. Okay, so let us take 3 point equal interval search method. There are more method also. There are 2 point method. There are 4 point method also. But in today's lecture, I will be discussing about 3 point equal interval search. Okay, so what does it mean? 3 point equal interval search. How we will be identifying these 3 points? So let us see how we will identify these 3 points. Okay, so suppose this is a function, and we have value interval, we have identified value a and b. Okay, and we are saying that our optimum value will lie, optimum value of your function will lie between these two values. Okay, so what is the length of your interval? This will be L equal to B minus A. Okay, and now we have to identify 3 point. Okay, so how we will identify 3 point? First point maybe you can say A plus B divided by 2, average of your these two values. Okay, so this may be your first point. This may be called as xm. Okay, then another point, how we will be calculating another point, because we have to identify points at the equal interval. Okay, so let us take one more point which is at the mid of this length xm to b. Okay, so if it is equidistance, then this will be at this place, and since this whole value is L, so this will be Ly4. I hope this diagram is visible which I am drawing, because I am drawing on PPT. Okay, so this is exactly at mid of this half region, so this will be Ly4. Again, for the other side, we are trying to compute another point which will be at equidistance from xm and a. Okay, so let us draw another find out another point. So this will be again Ly4. Okay, so here we can say, suppose this point is x1, this middle point is xm, and this point is x2. So here we can see these 3 points x1, xm and x2 are equidistant, and they are dividing the whole your region into 4 equal segments. Okay, four equal intervals. Okay, I hope this diagram is visual, so that you are able to understand what is the actual algorithm internet having algorithm. So we are able to understand what is this exactly, how we are calculating this x1, x2, L, xm. Okay, so here see, first we find out the mid, how we can calculate xm equal to 1 by 2 a plus b. Okay, length of your interval may be given as L equal to p minus a, and now we have to identify other points. So other points are x1 and x2, and how we can calculate the value of x1 and x2. X1 will be a, because since up to this point this is a, so a plus Ly4, this will be your x1. A2 will be, because this point is b, so this is being subtracted by Ly4, so this x2 may be given as b minus Ly4. Okay, so now you have 4 spaces which are divided into equal parts by these 3 points. So now let us compute xm, x1, x2. Okay, so you are supposed to find out values of these functions at 3 points. That is why this is called 3-point equal interval search. Okay, so we have calculated 3 points at equal interval, and we are trying to find out the value of function at these 3 points. Okay, x1, xm and x2. Okay, so let us try to compare. First condition, first we will compare the value of x1 and xm, because this is a case of minimization. So whichever side is having a minimum value, that will be taken as optimum solution, and while the another side will be dropped. Okay, so let us compare in the third step. Let us compare the value of fx1 and fxm. Okay, the value of function at x1 and value of the function at the mean of your interval. Okay, so if this value of fx1 is less than fxm. Okay, try to understand uh, this condition. Suppose this is a case of minimization. Since this is a case of minimization, and suppose this value fx1 is less than fxm, so obviously your we will say your optimum value will lie uh, in the left side of xm, because fx1 is less. Since this fx1 is less and this is higher, fxm is higher, so we can predict that the value of optimum value will lie in the left side of your xm. So by which we can conclude that the region between xm and b needs to be eliminated or needs to be dropped. Okay, so this region needs to be dropped, xm to b. Okay, so we will drop the interval xm by xm comma b, and the new value of b will set we will set equal to xm. Okay, so we will repeat the same process. We will go to the step 1, and now the new value of will be b will be equal to xm, and we will again repeat step 2. We will calculate new value of xm, which will be 1 by 2 a plus b, again this length of interval, and this process will continue. Okay, or this up to which point this process will continue, let us see. Okay, so if this statement or the condition fx1 is less than fxm continues, we will continue by replacing your by setting your xm equal to p. Okay, so here you can see at each step when we do this, the midpoint of a new interval will be your x1. Okay, hence x1 xm equal to x1, and you can go to the step 5. Okay, so let us see if this condition is not satisfied, fx1 is less than xm5. So suppose it is the case, if fx1 is greater than equal to fxm, then you need to go to step 4. So let us see what is the step 4. So in this step 4, now the condition will be reverse to the previous one. So if your this condition is not satisfied, that is fx1 is not less than equal to is not less than xm, and if it is greater than equal to fxm, so we will check with the value of fx2. So if fx2 is less than fxm, the same thing we will do. We will drop the region which is axm. Okay, and now what we will do, we will set the value of your a equal to xm. Your a will be replaced. We will put the value of your, because we are eliminating the now left hand side. We are that we will say that the region which is between a and xm is not our feasible solution. So we will replace and we will shift the value of a to m. So your a will be now, your new value of a will be a equal to xm. Okay, and your interval will be shifted from xm to b, and you can say your x2 will be lying at the midpoint I hope you are able to understand why it is written as midpoint of your new interval will be x2, because we already know that since we have eliminated left hand side, and we have two values xm and b, and what we are doing, we have new interval now xm to b, xm to b, and so suppose this value will become a for the further steps, and this comes b, and mid of these two will be x2. Okay, so after this we will go to the step 5. So we will see what is the step 5. Then uh, since we are comparing value of x2, if x2 is greater than xm, then drop the interval a x1 and a to x, sorry, a to b. Set a equal to x1 and b equal to x2. Note the maximum, note the xm continue to be the midpoint of the new interval and go to the step 5. Okay, so this way we will continue this algorithm that is called internal halving algorithm. Uh, in step 5, what we are doing, we are calculating the last interval, that is every time we are resetting the value of either value of a or b. Okay, and we reached at such a point that the difference of this interval b minus a is very small quantity. If it is very small, what we are supposed to do, we will terminate this algorithm. Okay, so this way we will apply your internal refinement method using your internal halving method. Okay, so uh, let us try to understand how this by example we will try to understand how this method is implemented in your numerical questions. Okay, so there are few things to be noted. Just wait, let me raise it. Okay, there are few things to be noted about your internal refinement phase, that at each stage of your algorithm, the exactly half of the length of your search interval is deleted. Okay, so in you could see that there were values a, xm, and b. Whatever may be the condition, either the left side or right side will be deleted while we are trying to find out the optimum value using your internal refinement in your internal refinement phase. Okay, so another condition, the midpoint of your subsequent interval is always equal to one of the previous trial. Okay, so we are talking about this property. The midpoint of your new interval will be now x2. Okay, so either this will be x1 or this will be x2. Previously in the step 3 it was x1, and in the step 4 it is x2. Okay, so the midpoint in any subsequent interval, it is always equal to one of the trial point, either it is x1, x2, or xn. Hence, at the most, two functional evaluations are necessary at each subsequent stage. Okay, since this midpoint is already known to us, so in next stage what we are supposed to do, we will calculate the value of your next we will always be knowing the value of either x1, either x2, or xm, and we need to calculate only two remaining new functions in order to proceed further with this internal refinement phase. Okay, So there is another third condition. After n functional evaluation, the initial search internal will be reduced to 1 by 2 raised to the power n by 2. Okay, so at each interval, your half of your search interval is getting deleted. So after n functional evaluation, what will be the search interval? The value of your search interval will be reduced or may be calculated by the formula 1 by 2 raised to the power n by 2. Okay, so this way we will try to implement your internal halving method, and let us take one example. Any query in this step, in this internal refinement method? Otherwise, I will move to the example. Okay, so let us move to the example. We have one example. Minimize fx equal to 100 minus x whole square. Over the interval, we have already some value of interval bounding phase. Through bounding phase, suppose we have identified that your optimum value is lying between 60 to 150. So we may write it as 60 is less than equal to x is less than equal to 150. So here we can see your a is 60, b is 150, l equal to length of your search interval. You can find out by using the formula b minus a. Okay, so this is coming 150 minus 60 equal to 90. Now you are supposed to identify the midpoint of your search interval. So how we will calculate the mid of your search interval? This will be xm equal to 1 by 2, 60 plus 150 equal to this will come 60 plus 150, 210, and half of it, this will be 105. Okay, so now what will be our objective? That we have to now calculate the 3 point remaining 2 more points, because we are using 3-point algorithm. So we have to calculate rest 2 points, which will equally divide the whole your search interval into 4 parts. Okay, so since your length of your search interval is already known, which is 90, and we will calculate the next 2 points. These will be x1 and x2 in the similar fashion which I discussed earlier. A plus l by 4. This will be your first point, and this is coming around 90 by 4. I think there is some calculation mistake. So this will be, how much value this will come? Yes, correct. Yes, it is correct. 22.5. I thought it is being equally. Okay, so the calculation is correct. So this is 22.5 plus 60. Okay, so this becomes 82.5. Okay, similarly, if you calculate the value of x2, we are again finding out, we are calculating the third point. So we have 3 points, x1, x2, and xm. And now what we are doing, we are supposed to calculate the value of your function at all these 3 points. So the value of function at fx1, this is fx1 82.5. This is coming around 306.25. Okay, so and if you compare this value with your xm, what is happening? It is greater than it is greater than xm, because x value of xm is 25 xm, because sorry, fxm. Okay, because xm is 105, so 100 minus 105, this will be 5, whole square of 5, this will be 25. So we can say this your fx1 is greater than fxm. And now compare another value, because we have to calculate all these values. So this is fx2. If you calculate the value of fx2, so fx2 is again fx2 equal to, this will come around 756.25. so here we can see which condition is getting satisfied. Your fx2 is greater than your fxm. Okay, so go to your algorithm, what your algorithm is saying. This condition is not satisfied, this condition is satisfied. Your fx1 is greater than fxm. So we need to go to step 4, and up in this step 4, again this condition is not satisfied. fx2 is less than equal to fxm, because your fx2 is greater than fxm. So what we are supposed to do, we have to drop two intervals, one which is left side of your x1, and another which is right side of your x2. Okay, so we will drop these values, and now your search interval will be between x1 and x2, and your mean of these two midpoint of these two will be your xm. Okay, so try to see here what we are doing. We are dropping the interval a x1, and we are dropping interval a x2. Okay, so what will be the value? What will be the value in which your search interval will remain? Here you see your search interval will be your a will be x1, and b will be x2. Okay, so as I was thinking that there is some typo error. So here your search interval will be now from will vary from x1 to x2. Okay, so here x1 is 82.5, and x2 is your 127.5. Okay, so we have new interval now. So this will now become a, and this will now become b, and your xm is already known, because the value or mean of these two will be your 105 again, because this is anyway this is mean of x1 and x2 also. Okay, so here you can see there is typo error only at this point. This 90 to 45, this is a typo error. So now your value new interval is becoming a equal to 82.5, and b is 127.5, and here you can see your xm is 105. Okay, so again we will repeat the process. Length of your search interval will be calculated as L equal to B minus A, your new value of B and new value of A. So this is now 127.5 minus 82.5, which will be equal to 45. Similarly, we are supposed to calculate the new value of your x1 and x2. So the new value of your x1 will be a plus l by 4. Here is a is new value of a is 82.5 plus new value of your l is your interval is 45 divided by 4 equal to 93.75. Similarly, you are supposed to calculate the value of your x2. This will be again b minus l by 4. This is coming around 116.25. Okay. So now we will again repeat the process. Calculate the value of function at x1, x2 and xm. So xm is already known to us because xm is 105. This is already known to us, and we are supposed to calculate the value of function at these 2 points x1 and x2. Okay, so fx1, this is 39.06, and fx2 is your 264.06. If you calculate by using calculator, these two values will come. Okay, so again what we are supposed to do, we have to check which condition is getting satisfied. So we are reaching again at this point because fx1 is also greater than fxm, and then we have to reach to step 4, and in step 4 also again this condition is getting satisfied. So here we can see fx1 is greater than fxm, also fx2 is greater than fxm. Okay, so again which interval we have to delete? We have to remove interval from your a x1, and another will be b x2 b. Okay, so these two interval we will remove, and your new values of a and b now become x will now become your x1, your interval now will become x1 to x2. Okay, so and what we will do, we will assign the values these x1 and x2 to new value of a and b. Okay, so again your possible solution will lie between these new values of b and a. So what are the new values of a and b? A will be equal to x1, this is 93.75. okay, b will be 116.25. okay, so your possible solution will lie between these 2 points. Okay, I hope it is clear. If there is any doubt, you can repeat. So let us move to the next step, that is step 3. Okay, so in this step we have assigned value of a equal to 93.75 and b is your 116.25. so we have given new value of your b equal to 116.25. so here again, because the mean is not changing, so your xm will remain the same, and your xm is equal to 105. okay, so let us now again calculate the value of your length of your search interval. This will be L equal to 116.25 minus 93.75, that is obviously B minus A. This will be equal to 22.5. Then calculate the new value of your x1 and x2. So the new value will be A plus L by 4, and this will be B minus L by 4. Okay, so I have put the calculated value. This is x1 equal to 99.375 and x2 equal to 110.625. Okay, so these are new values of your x1, x2 and xm. So what we will do now, we will again calculate the value of your fx1, value of function at x1. We will calculate the value of function fx at point x2. So let us calculate the value of fx1. We can see fx1 equal to 0.39. Okay, so and we can also calculate the value of function at x2 which is 100.26. So 110.26, if you calculate the value of fx2, this will be 100 minus value of x square. So this see 100 minus x whole square. So this will be now 100 minus 100 10.625 whole square. Okay, so if you approximate this value, let us this will be 10.625 whole square. Okay, so this value will be around something 100 plus. Okay, I am not calculating the exact value. Okay, so this will be obviously 100 plus. So now here we can see which condition is getting satisfied. fx1 is less than fm. Okay, so which condition is satisfied? fx1 is less than xm. So this first condition is satisfied. So now what we will do? We will eliminate the other side, that is the xm and p, and we will compute the we will go to the step 5. Okay, so let us see in the step 5 what we are doing. We are computing the length of your interval. Okay, so let us come. So here we could see that which region to be selected. The region which is corresponding to x1 side, this has to be selected, and the region which is between your x to p needs to be sorry, this is the region which is xmb needs to be eliminated. It is not xm. Okay, so the region with the new value of your xmb needs to be removed, and your region which is x1 xm will be selected as your or as your refined region for your given problem. Okay, so we have deleted this interval corresponding to your xm and b, and your possible solution will lie between from a to xm. Okay, new value of a to xm. So here we can see the possible solution which is I will not go to the I will not calculate the other stages, but a few things I will try to tell you here, which we discussed in the while discussing this algorithm, that this is value of a, this is value of xm, and if you try to see the difference of these two value, that is length. Okay, So length of search interval, what is length of search interval now? This will be 105 minus 93.75. So if you calculate this value, this is coming around 11.25. Okay, and if you see the see the property, how this length of interval is reduced. So first length of interval was 90. Okay, so now this in these three steps, you can calculate the uh, in these three stages how this value of uh, your internal interval of your length of your internal interval should be reduced. So if you try to calculate, this will be 90 by 8. Okay, or you can say 45 by 4, which will be equal to 11 point. Okay, so here you can see the previous condition which we discussed, that your length of interval will be 1 by 2 raised to the power n. Okay, where n is your number of stages. Okay, so this condition you can cross check, as well as uh, you can go to the further steps in order to refine your further refinement of your optimum region or the search interval. So here now your new search interval is 93 point, sorry, 75 to 105. Okay, and if you calculate the mean of this, then this midpoint you can calculate, the midpoint will be 99.375. Okay, so again you can set this value equal to A, this value equal to B, and this is XM, and you can go to the next stage, and you can assign, you need to calculate the value of X1 and X2. Okay, so in that way you can continue to the uh, desired accuracy, that to which extent you want to get the solution. Okay, so I will not move to the next lecture because it is 10:22. So if you are having any doubt, I will repeat, I will elaborate more on this internal refinement phase. Otherwise, I will stop here. So any questions, any doubt from from previous lecture or the past lecture which we covered, we were trying to uh, we were trying to cover the region elimination method. Okay, so under region elimination method, first we are removing the region by bounding phase. We are so that much time is not lost in applying the refinement method on the whole interval in which we are supposed to get your solution. So instead of applying the internal refinement method on the whole interval, what we are doing, first we are trying to identify your bounding phase. We are bracketing your region to certain reduced value. Okay, and after that we are applying your interval refinement method in the bracketed region in order to get the desired accuracy in which we are supposed to get your solution. Okay, so I hope all of you will practice this method of which is your region elimination method. If you are having any doubt, you may call me anytime. Okay.